Oh, welcome to the Sharpe Show. So happy to have you with me this evening. A little bit past 7 p.m. on the East Coast, and I I didn't do a show last night, but I'm doing one tonight, and I will do one tomorrow also. But there were so many things that I was thinking about. My head was kind of spinning on what I should do, and as you guys know, I'm doing a lot of cool stuff coming up here soon. So I was figuring, what am I going to do today? And it was something that was bugging me. I saw this a couple days ago, and it was kind of sitting in my craw. And I thought, I want to say something because people ask me how I can make New York better, how can we make America better, things like that. And one of the most important things for us to do this is to actually build things. Building things does matter, right? It does matter. We have to try to build things. It's challenging, and we have to do it. However, it looks like other countries are doing it better than we are. And that's the thing that can make us feel sad, can make us feel like we're failing, can also make it look like we are what I hate to think about it, but to make us look like we are almost a failing empire. But I think it is repair. It is repairable. And let me show you what I'm talking about for those of you who aren't sure. Recently, there was a bridge built in China, and it is the largest bridge. Can I make this bigger? Can I make this bigger? I think I can. There we go. And it is the largest, tallest bridge right now in the world. And let me see if I can go. This, by the way, is my friend Hannah. She's amazing. She's been on the show before. She's awesome.
China just completed this jaw-dropping bridge in under 4 years. That's right.
When I said that, they built this bridge in under 4 years. Virtually impossible in America. I'm not gonna say virtually impossible in America. You couldn't build a bridge like this in 4 years. 20, maybe. I mean, probably not, but maybe.
This is now the world's tallest bridge at 2,600 feet, and it's not even just a bridge. They also made it into an amusement park. As you can see, it features a restaurant in one of the peaks of the bridge.
There is a restaurant on the bridge. So you can go to the top of the bridge and go to a restaurant, right? And see next to it is a massive glass elevator.
It also has high-speed glass elevators that take you up to it. There is a glass sky bridge you can walk over. There is a waterfall off the edge of the bridge, which is...
Now you might be saying, Larry, come on. Do we need... Right? Do we need to have a bridge that has a waterfall on it? Or do we need a bridge that has a restaurant on top? No, we don't need it. But should we be able to build shit like this? Yes. Can we? No. No. I'll give you the most recent example that I can imagine that bothers me so much. And that is the Freedom Tower. Now, why do I bring the Freedom Tower up? Freedom Tower is here in New York, where I am. People will say, Larry, you go to Freedom Tower? No, I hate the Freedom Tower. Let me repeat that. I hate the Freedom Tower. Why? It represents what is bad in America, not what's good. The name's good, Freedom Tower. But it took, what, 12 years to build it? Is that right? Something like that? Because we got caught in litigation. I'm not joking. Then when we built it, we couldn't even build what we wanted to build. There was a glass bottom thing which was built. We couldn't do that. It didn't work right or whatever. So that failed too. And the biggest piece is actually the memorial to the people who died. So that's the biggest piece versus what we should have done, which was build 2 more towers in exactly the same spots so the world didn't matter and they can't touch us. Instead, we built a tower that goes, you hurt us, we were hurt. That's what the Freedom Tower is. And it took us 12 years to build it. Yeah. And that's how it is. So it isn't that we should build this or that it's the right thing. It's that we can't. Larry, you said America's... I'm saying we can't.
Absolutely stunning. And you can even bungee jump off of it, if you're insane. All I can think about while consuming this content is how embarrassed I am for my country because...
She is right. I am also. I'm also. I am also. Mike brings up, the Chinese bridge won't last 10 years. Yes, it will. How do I know that? Because the other 9 tallest bridges in the world are also Chinese. and they're older than 10 years. So I know it will last longer than 10 years. I'm 100% sure of that. The other ones already did. So it will last. Yeah. It will last. Yeah. And Rick goes on, it will last longer for propaganda purposes. Yes, that's true. And if it fails, they'll just rebuild another one because they can rebuild one in 4 years. So even say it falls in 15 years, they'll rebuild it. Lunatic says, who cares? Does it actually serve its purpose of getting humans across the gorge? That's not, no, you're wrong, Lunatic. You're wrong. Humans don't just build things that function or work. Humans also build things that they feel are beautiful or nice or fun. Lots of things. Now, you don't have to engage in those things, but people like to build things that are other things like fun and nice and beautiful to the specific person who thinks it's beautiful. And that's a good thing, Lunatic. So that's why it matters. Who cares is the people who like to see beautiful things. That may not be you, and that's fine. It isn't me either. I'm probably never going to visit this thing. But I want to know that if America decides we're going to build the next Hoover Dam, that we could build it. We can't. I'd like to know that if we wanted to build this, if we say, hey, you know what? We should build, I'm a developer and I want to build a massive bridge with a waterfall on it. Okay, then I should be able to build it and then I can build it. So I think you're missing the point, Mr. Lunatic, completely missing the point. It doesn't matter if it can get people across the gorge or not. We should be able to build, even if you wanted to build, I want to build a big bridge that no one can use but looks amazing and that people will just spend money to go look at. That doesn't work. Okay, you should be able to build that, right? If you want to, you should be able to. You couldn't. That's the issue. Now she's going to talk about why.
The United States cannot build stuff like this anymore. The two-party system, more so the Democrats, but both of them have made it impossible.
True. That's the problem. She gets it exactly. That's the problem. I'm going to show you a couple more videos in a second to explain that a little bit better. But yes, that's the problem. So who cares, Lunatic? Anybody who wants to build stuff should care. Again, if you don't want to watch, don't watch. If you don't want to cross it, don't cross it. But some people clearly want to go to that restaurant. They should be able to. Some people want to bungee jump off that thing. I mean, not me, but that's fine. Bungee jump off it just because you want to. Somebody wanted to build it. Some engineer was like all excited to build this thing. Great. That's amazing. We couldn't do it.
For the US to do things like this. And it's actually only going to get worse. Now, some people have been making funny jokes like this is what you get when you don't send all your money to fight wars in the Middle East, which.
Well, that's, that piece is there's some truth to that, but that's a minor piece, right? Is there some truth that we send all the money overseas? Yes, there's some truth to that, but that's a minor piece. It does bother me, and we shouldn't send all our money overseas to fight wars anyway. That's true, right? Yeah, so, yeah. But that isn't the reason, right? Even though I don't like it, that doesn't make it the reason why we can't build things.
Is true, but it's actually not the dominant reason that we can no longer build things here. It
True.
Actually is all more about the regulations, the labor laws, the minimum
100%.
wage laws,
I don't know why she had minimum wage law. Minimum wage law, not that I'm for or against minimum wage laws, but that has nothing to do with building it. Minimum wage laws have nothing to do. She doesn't like minimum wage laws. And I get it, but yeah.
Spending and printing of federal dollars, making the dollar worth nothing. Now
Also
tariffs.
True. Now, that piece is important. That part is important, right? Yes, America spends the most money, but how much is our dollar worth? That's what, are we actually spending the most money? Who knows? Is it real? So that's another piece she brings up that makes sense. That also does make sense. So I just want to make sure we grab that part too. Okay, keep going.
I could actually make a video talking about any of those things in depth and how they contribute to our inability to create. But the main issue is permitting reform. America used to build things.
Yes.
It used to be our thing. As this account pointed.
She brought it up. Permitting reform. That's the critical issue. That's the number one thing. Absolutely.
Out. We built the Golden Gate Bridge in 4.5 years, decades and decades ago. But today, we wouldn't even be able to finish the environmental review process in 4.
I don't think she's joking when she says we couldn't finish the environmental review process. And you might go, but Larry, doesn't the environment matter? It does. I'm not saying the environment doesn't matter. I'm not saying that at all. What I am saying is we have to build shit. But some turtle might die. I would like the turtle to not die. And if we can save the turtle, we should. And if we can't, then the turtle's going to die. And that may make me be cruel. Then I guess I'm cruel. I guess I'm a turtle hater. Whatever. Don't care. Don't care. We have to build things. Let's try to save the turtle if we can. And if we can't, we have to build things. So we need to build things. That's the critical aspect. And here's the problem that we have in our government. We are so worried about building things wrong or creating harm or whatever the case may be, that we have stifled growth, period. We have stifled growth completely. The problem is everyone, I'm exaggerating. There are so many people in the government who are responsible to say no, while no one is responsible to say yes. We need to change literally the mottos, the purposes of all of our government agencies that exist, for those that will keep. I mean, a lot of them we don't want to keep, but for those that will keep. For example, I don't want my Department of Building to be its goal is to make sure that all the codes are followed. Right? You may go, well, that's a good idea, Larry. No, it is not. That isn't the good idea. It is to make sure things are built as safely as possible. That should be the goal. Note, to build. So if stuff isn't being built, then it's failing. That's not how it works. How it works is if anything goes wrong, Department of Buildings is blamed. That's how it currently works. We have to stop that shit. It's all about blame. This is why she says the two-party system. The two-party system is all about blame. It's just blame. So why would I want to say yes to build something? If something goes wrong, I just blame the other. No. You should be blamed because you didn't build something, because you were incompetent, because you kept everything down. No, things should be built. Kennedy said it. We want to go to the moon, not because it's easy, because it's hard. Or if he would say hard. So yes, because it is hard. That's why he would say it. For you Bostoners, take that. So yes, in any case, that's why we should do things. We don't. We do things that are not hard. We fail constantly. Everything collapses, and our budget is still collapsing. What have we built that's new, that's worth a damn? I mean, really, we can't build nuclear power to stop that. We can't build anything. It's terrible.
0.5 years. The permitting process has become untenable. If you have to wait years, sometimes even decades, just to get approval to start building, then it really is impossible for anybody to profit off of, which is the only.
And that's the critical piece. Why does government have to build everything? Why? Why doesn't the private sector go and build? Early on, the private sector built everything. The private sector built the railroad. The private sector built the subway. The private sector built the bus schedules and the bus routes, right? The private sector built all of that. Why can't the private sector, or won't the private sector do it anymore? Because it's not profitable. Because the hoops you have to go through now are so horrible that only an organization that doesn't care about profit, that loves throwing money away, would ever do it. Government. That's why. That's why government builds a subway line. Now, to be clear, we built the entire initial subway lines in New York in the private sector in a couple years. The entire thing in a couple years. Now it takes us 20 years to build an extension. I wish I was joking. 20 years. Remember the big dig in Boston? How long was that? 15, 20 years, whatever the hell that was? Supposed to be like 2-3 years. Why? Government. But Larry, government cares about no, it doesn't. Well, this is the one I love. Well, no, because now, if government does it, then, we have some responsibility. We can vote them out and they're accountable to the people. What kind of stupid shit is that? And I hear that all the time. Well, government, then we're responsible. No, they're not. They don't care what you think. They build shit whether you want to or not. They don't care what you think. You're paying taxes no matter what they do. Well, if the private sector, they control everything. No, we actually can punish the private sector. We can boycott them, not buy their stuff, trash them online, not buy their products. We can trash their stock price. Yeah, we actually can punish the private sector. We can't punish government. How do we know that? Because government's been failing us for decades and nothing changes. So that's how I know that. That's how I know that. If government is supposed to build a bridge, whatever the case, you're going to build a new tunnel. We're supposed to be building a tunnel in New York City going to Jersey. I'm not joking, for over 2 decades. We haven't even started. Haven't started. 2 decades. We've been trying to build this tunnel. It's the rail tunnel that goes for all like Amtrak and all that stuff, right? All the garbage that Amtrak is. We're trying to do that actually for 2 decades. Hasn't even started. If I had said, hey, I don't know, what's the biggest company? Amazon, the biggest company, I don't know what the biggest company is. Whatever the biggest company is. Is it Meta? Whatever. Hey, Meta, build this tunnel. I'm going to lease the land out. Go. They had it built in 2 years. Just built in 2 years, done in 2 years. Why? Because if they fail, there's punishment. So now in come the construction workers to start building. They don't want to build on time. Meta will sue them into the ground. That construction company better build it. What if it's a construction company and it's the government's doing it? They go, well, we can't do it. Why? Because I think I saw a mouse, so I'm not going to move for 3 days because a mouse was out there. What happens? We give them more money and give them more time. We have no recourse whatsoever. Government benefits from failure. Private sector does not. This is why. But I hear all the time the opposite. Those people who think that are demonstrably wrong.
The reason people build things. This is as clear as day. If we want to be a proper country again, and especially if we want to compete with other global powers, if our people hope to have any quality of life, we have to make it to where things can get done here. We have to reform our permitting process. China.
Yes. I wanted you guys to see that part matters tremendously. Let me grab a couple comments if I could. All righty. Let me see here. Rick, thank you for becoming a member, my friend. 9 months. Thank you. Government exists to punish bad citizens and bad countries. Bad equals what rulers don't like. Sadly true. Sadly true. Yes, that is sadly true. Yeah, I wish it wasn't true, but it is. So, yeah. All right. Patty says, Larry, Shelburne, Virginia now has a rent-to-own public housing. Yay! They took my ideas. They're being used. Yes, that's the answer, Patty. I told you. The stuff I'm saying, it's been on my website literally for 7, 8 years now. I'm talking about making this happen in New York State. These ideas are good ideas. They can actually work. Now, some people, Patty, either don't want to or won't bother, doing rent to own, and some will. Good. Now they have ownership, right? What people don't realize when it comes to this piece is when wealthy people move, they get a check. When non-wealthy people move, they're in debt. Why? Because wealthy people have equity. Non-wealthy people don't. So when you have some ownership, you're having some equity. When you move, you get a check. I like that. Yes. Lunatic says, in the House, to answer the topic question, depends on participants in society that are going to collectively work and cooperate that can build anything special. No. Lunatic, again, you're off tonight. You're off tonight. When government gets in the way and stops you, no. They just tell you no. And if you try to do it, they put you in jail. And if you stop that, they shoot you. So, no. That sounds good, but no. Government just says, you can't build that. Why? Environmental blah, 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 whatever. And then you can't build the thing. Yes. Kintsugi is in the house. How are you, my dear? I just looked that up. How impressive is that? Can't stay just saying hi. Oh, it's okay. You got to go. Glad you came. Glad you came. Dave says, yes, Larry, America can add Trump's image to Mount Rushmore and they can create a Trump coin. Can they, though? I mean, it's funny, but can they? I would want to see if we could actually put Trump's image on Mount Rushmore. I bet we couldn't. I bet there'd be some environmental, or the Native Americans would be angry or something or whatever, right? Patty goes on and says, we're building a big, beautiful wall. What else do you want to build? No, we're not building a big, beautiful wall. We're actually not. Yeah. And that took how long? How long did that take? Even what we got, did we build it? Yeah, no, not even. So, yes, just that's interesting. So, a couple of you guys talking about how the bridge is not going to last. The bridge is going to last. Look, that's like Cold War talking points. That's propaganda, right? Chinese stuff doesn't all collapse. Some of it does. Don't get me wrong. Some of it does, but most of the stuff that's collapsing is in buildings and cities that no one's in anyway. So, do they just build something? They do, yes, but they're not going to. Not all stuff's going to collapse. And whether it collapses or not, let's say I'm wrong and this bridge collapses in 10 years. It's not going to, because the other bridges have been there longer than 10 years. But even if it doesn't, it doesn't stop the point that we couldn't build it in the first place. So they can build it, it can collapse, and they can rebuild it. We can't build it the first time. So why do I care? Even if they're disposable. So yeah. Excuse me. Andrea says, the government has too many regulations to get things done. We need regulations to make sure things are built well. But our government has too much red tape to get anything done. Can we find a balance? Yes, there is a way to do it. And the way to do it, Andrea, is by making things shall issue versus may issue. Let me be clear on that. So, Andrea, you want to permit to build something on your land, whatever. You want to build a shed, whatever. Unless the government can show an actual reason as to why you should not or cannot build it, right? Like there's going to be some harm towards somebody. You're going to take over someone's land, right? There's some obvious reason why you cannot build this thing. It's dangerous to your neighbors, right? Whatever. There's a reason. If they cannot show you a reason within 30 days or 45, you pick the time, you get it. You can build it. So they shall issue unless something's wrong, versus they may issue if you do the right thing. No, it is assumed that you can do the build in X number of days or weeks or months, whatever's appropriate depending upon the build, unless the government can show you, hey, Andrea, no, you can't build that thing because where you're going to build it is actually on someone else's property. So no, you cannot build it. It's not your property unless you get permission from that person. It's fair. You can't build that thing because that thing will leak over onto the other person's property. Okay, makes sense, right? There's a reason to not let you build it because you're affecting someone else in your area or community. Makes total sense. But if they don't have that, they shouldn't stop you. So I think that's how you do it. You make it shall issue versus may issue. Kim, member for 8 months. Thank you, Kim. The best podcast ever right here. True. That's accurate, Kim. Thank you for that. See, she gets it. Kim gets it. It is indeed the best podcast ever. That's true. Yes. So I'm glad that you saw that. All righty. Let me go to the next one. There was one more I want to bring up here if I could. Let me pop up one more because I was thinking to myself, okay, if she's saying that, all right, other people say it too, what are they focusing on, right? What are these people focusing on? Well, AOC recently had something to say, and I'm sure she was looking at something very important, things that matter tremendously. So what did AOC have to say recently? This is important. This just popped up recently. Let's see. AOC, what she got to say? I'm sure it'll be critical.
Stephen Miller is a clown. I've never seen that guy in real life, but he looks like he's like 4'10". And
4'10".
He looks like he is angry about the fact that he's 4'10". And he looks like he is so mad that he is 4'10", that he's taking that anger out at any other population possible.
So, to be clear, the government shut down. She's supposed to care about that. I mean, I don't, but she's supposed to care about that. Not just that. We can't build anything. And supposedly the world is ending. And what does she do? She decides to insult Stephen Miller. That was what she decided to do. Don't I tell you all the time? What does the left do? The left dismisses. So the left does. The left dismisses. See, that's it. The left dismisses. That's how it works. That's what she's doing. That's what she thinks is important right now. She's going to just shame people.
Laugh at them.
Laugh at them.
Yes, they are dangerous. Yes, we're here to be strong for one another.
See, she says they're dangerous. That's the word they always use. They're dangerous. So what should you do? I know. Have a plan to stop them? No, you should just laugh at them because that'll work. They've been laughing at Trump since 2015. 10 years of laughing. He was president twice. The laughing's not going to work. I'm just saying it's not working. You can laugh all you want. It's not working. But she says laugh. And this is one of the leaders of the left. I'm gonna give you the right in a second. But yeah, here we go.
This is about insecure masculinity.
See what? The Democrats have a male problem. I've been telling you this for years. Male problem. Men don't want to be Democrats. So what is AOC's answer to that? Insecure masculinity shaming, height shaming. That'll get the men flocking. Boy, I can't wait to be a Democrat now. Could you be worse? I mean, maybe.
And one of the best ways that you can dismantle a movement of.
How can you dismantle this? Her words, dangerous movement. Her words, this is dangerous. They're basically Nazis, which is what she says. So how do you dismantle them?
Insecure men is by making fun of them.
See, if you just make fun of insecure men, nothing could go wrong ever. Never, except they become president. Except when you laugh at other young, insecure men who are alone, they murder your children. I'm not joking. This is what she says. This is her plan. Her plan. The Democratic plan is laugh at the Republicans, I guess, and shame them for their height, because that'll work. That'll stop. That's the best way, she said, to stop a movement, is what she said. I didn't say it. Like, I'm just doing, this is her words. She didn't say, here's a plan to fix things. No. She didn't say, here's how we stop the Republicans from tearing things up or whatever evil thing they're doing today, right? This is just how we stop. No. What you do is you height shame them and laugh at them, because what could go wrong except the incels decide that they want to murder children in schools and shoot it up, and then they do it. This is her brilliance.
By having secure men.
See that? You're just going to magically make secure men. I'll just shame the men. Because you know what Democrats need? More shaming of men. That'll work.
Who aren't afraid of successful people around them.
See that? They're all afraid. I'm going to get past this. This makes me want to vomit. But that's her. So as I said, this is one of the leaders. One of the tough ones, right? One of the tough ones. And she's out there saying the answer is height shame them and laugh. That's her answer. Well, it's okay. No problem. Because you know who she's obviously being silly. The real people in the room. Okay. The adults in the room, that's Republicans. They are ready. They got an answer. Okay, here come our Republicans, because, see, Democrats were just like, okay, it's fine. Republicans got an answer. What do I say Republicans do? Oh, yeah. Here's Republicans. They got the answer now. Okay. Show us what you're doing, Mike Johnson. Do it. What are we doing?
Welcome to day 3 of the Democrat shutdown.
Oh, immediately we start to, what do I always tell you? Distract. Blame. The Democrat, that's the one time he said Democrat shutdown.
You can see it's pretty empty around here.
It is.
There's normally a lot of activity. On an average day, we have about 7,000 visitors here in the Capitol.
Nice.
School children and school groups and visitors and constituents, but they're not here right now.
No.
And around the country, all around the country right now, real pain is being endured by real people.
Yeah.
Because the Democrats have decided to play politics.
See, it's the Democrats that are paying politics. It's not Republicans. They don't play politics. The Republican, the way they're going to fix everything is, they don't have a plan either. So, yeah, they're not going to do it either. But again, as I always tell you, Democrats dismiss, Republicans distract. So it's Democrats' fault.
So Leader Thune and I wanted to come out and do two things today. Just give you a brief update on where things stand with this Democrat shutdown.
Third time.
And then to reiterate once more, present the simple facts about what we're facing.
Now, he said Democrat shutdown 3 times in the first 30 seconds. Now, that's some good branding. I'm going to give him that. Mike, that's good branding. I'm going to give you that good branding, right? But again, no one.
This is necessary because the Democrats
4 times
have a full-out assault to spin the facts and try to pretend as though they are not what they actually are. And some of the mainstream media are participating in this as well.
See, the mainstream media, also the bad guys, distraction all over the place.
Our leadership press conference yesterday, and in mid-sentence, I was cut off by one of the networks, CNN. I hope you'll stay with us for a few more moments, because what I was about to say before they went to try to disclaim my remarks was I was about to point to the very page in Chuck Schumer's counter-proposal
Chuck
continuing
Schumer.
resolution that proves the very fact that we've been stating. So let me go through
It's
that
the
very
Schumer
quickly so
shutdown.
everyone here has no question.
I'm not going to go any further than that. My point being, this is our government. We couldn't build a bridge if we tried. And the left is like, men are short. That's the left. And the right's like, Democrats are bad. That's the right. Who's building the bridge? Who's fixing the system? Who's fixing any of this? Nobody is. It's a joke. Nobody is. Nobody seems to care. Nobody's paying attention. Nobody's doing any of it. That's the problem. It's a joke. Literally a joke. And we wonder why Mom Donnie's winning. Why is Mom Donnie winning here in New York City? Why is the guy who Trump calls a communist winning? Why is he winning? Because Mom Donnie actually has a plan. I mean, it's free buses and stuff, but it's a plan. No one else does. And this is the funny part. Mom Donnie thinks he can make what's he going to do? He can make buses free. That he can probably do. But he can't make the grocery stores. He probably can't do that. He can't tax the wealthy. He can't do that. So, yeah. But it doesn't matter. So, I'm going to grab a couple more of these. XKHDC says, Larry Sharpe for governor. Good idea. Thank you for your support, my friend. I appreciate that. Yes. All righty. Let me grab here through a couple more. John says, we should build a moon base and then a Mars colony. You know, I want to cover that, John. You bring up a very interesting piece. A couple years back, I think it was 2016, when Newt Gingrich was running for president. He talked about a moon base, and people attacked him. There's many reasons to not like Newt Gingrich, but moon base was not one of them. A moon base is a wonderful idea, and what I get all the time is, Larry, we can't build a moon base. We got problems here in America. We got no. Utter garbage, utterly wrong. Bill Maher says that. Moon base is stupid. We got to put money. No. Bill Maher wants to support overseas wars too. So no. Why does a moon base matter? There are several reasons why a moon base matters. And it really does. I'm not even joking about this at all. Number one reason why a moon base matters is it's a reason for our youth to want to do something besides protest and be activists. I'm not joking. I'm not against young people being activists. They always are activists. But now that's their goal. If you watch TikTok, if you watch the youth on Instagram, activism and virtue signaling is how they strive to be higher. That is their calling. I'm not joking. I have two young kids, younger kids, right? 15 and 21. So my kids are right in that age range, and all their friends are the same. What are you standing up for? And blah, blah, blah. Who gives a shit? None of that stuff matters anyway. I mean, a protester, it doesn't matter. Protests haven't worked in, 50 years more. I don't know when last time it worked. I can't remember last time it worked. In my lifetime, protests never worked. So they don't work. But they do make you feel good, I guess. They make you feel better, I guess, if that's what you want to do. But I'd rather them take up some other actual cause that means something. I don't want them fighting wars. That's useless. Been fighting wars for 70 years. How about have them want to go on a moon base? When I was a kid growing up, there was a TV show. Some of you might remember it. It was from the UK, came to America. It was called Space 1999. Some of you may remember that. And in that, by 1999, we had a moon base, right? In this sci-fi came out in the 70s, 60s, 70s. I think it came out in the 70s. Commander Koenig. Anyway, so in that case, there was a moon base in 1999. And in this movie, there's an explosion, and the moon breaks away from the Earth, and the moon flies away, and like the moon's like a ship. So it's basically Star Trek, but it's the moon. Basically what it was. Anyway, so, but what did that tell me as a kid in the 70s? Oh, I'm going to be a guard on the moon, and we're going to have a moon base. And all the kids wanted to learn science because of Star Trek, and the kids, we wanted to be STEM kids because we were all going to like make rocket ships and stuff. That's what we all thought. Now what do you think? They're going to be influencers and move people to, I don't know, BLM or something or whatever. I don't know what they're going to do. That's what they look for now. So a moon base makes us think we can go do something. Number one. There's far better than that. Whatever it takes to create a moon base will create such a technological explosion. How do I know that? Happened when we went to the moon the first time. Massive technological explosion. People have a reason to create technology other than social media technology, which is all we're doing. We're using AI to make AI slop on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, and we should be using it to go to the goddamn moon. Gives us a reason to go do something that makes sense. Not just that. For those who don't know, there's no atmosphere on the moon, which means radiation tears you up on the moon. So how are we going to survive on the moon? We need to figure out radiation shielding, won't we? We will. Yes, I don't know how to do that, but they'll figure it out. Or we can't be on the moon. So we have a reason to figure out how to shield ourselves from radiation. That's important, right? Not just that, how we're going to survive with our bones when we don't have gravity. Well, there's some gravity, but very little gravity. How are we going to do that? How are we going to fix that issue? We'll have to find an answer, won't we? It'll be long-term. How are we going to find that? Is that a certain exercise? Is that a certain way of fixing your bones? Is that a certain drug you take? I don't know. We'll figure it out. Not just that. Can you heal faster on the moon? Is that a thing you can do? I don't know, but we'll find out. Maybe lack of gravity might help you heal your bones or heal your whatever the case may be. Maybe that's going to help out. We'll find out. If so, now we can go to the moon to heal for 2 weeks or whatever. All those types of things will happen. Not just that, we can now build stuff on the moon. Why does that matter? If you build stuff on the moon, it's a whole lot cheaper to shoot a rocket from the moon than it is from the Earth. Why? Less gravity. So now we can shoot stuff off the moon even easier. So yes, that's why you have the moon base first and then a Mars colony. If you notice in the older in the Star Trek movies, all the ships are not built on the ground. The ships are built in orbit because it's cheaper. Yes, a moon base is a critical answer. We absolutely should do it. And then we should put the Mars colony too. Yes, why? Get people to believe things, care about stuff, and stop worrying about whether I'm TikToking and passing some dumb law that doesn't matter. Yes, I'd like our kids to actually care about something. So anyway, all righty. Dave says, St. Nicholas Shrine, Ground Zero, Greek Orthodox Church, didn't start construction until October 14th. Look at that. October 14th. Jesus. 13 years. And didn't complete the church and consecrated on July 4th, 2024. 10 years. Come on. Dave, we should be embarrassed by that, man. We really should be embarrassed by that. Shredan says, over on Rumble, the private sector will go to Mars. It's the only way. But a government can never do it. And this is funny. You have Neil deGrasse Tyson, who I'm so disappointed in. What a loser that guy is. Oh, my God. God, he's terrible. Even Bill Maher says he's terrible. And Bill Maher's like one of them. And even he says it. What a disappointment that guy is. Jeez. Even he's like, no, only government can do rockets. He said that. And someone asked him, why? Well, because that's what's always been. So because that's what's always been, says the scientist. Says the scientist. Well, it's always been, at one point, it had always been that the sun revolved around the earth. It had always been for a long time. Then we found out, oh, that was bullshit. Yeah. So just because something's always been doesn't mean anything. But the scientist, Neil deGrasse Tyson, says only government can, because that's what's always happened. Well, if you make it profitable, businesses will. Because businesses aren't good. Businesses aren't evil. They're apathetic. If you give them a reason to go someplace to make money, they will go. That's how that works. Not just once, every time. Like, what's your example? It's called the railroads. The New York City subway. Everyone thinks, well, it's the government. They weren't built by government. They were taken over by government. Amtrak was taken over by government. All built by the private sector. Yeah, people don't recognize that. Oh my God, I thought government built it. No, private sector built it. And then government regulated it to where it wasn't profitable anymore. And so then take it over. So, yes. Anyway, just thought you might enjoy that piece. Let me see if I can grab a couple more here. Let's see. I do like that piece though with the yeah. Minor Threat says degrowth is a loser. True. You're not wrong. Andrea says finger pointing gets nothing accomplished. By the way, thank you for becoming a member, Andrea. I appreciate that. I appreciate all the members, guys. I really do. So I was talking about that. So let me go there for there is a piece when you talk about private sector building things, how government doesn't work. There is a place you can go to see more about that. I think you know where. You knew it was civil. Of course you did. Of course you did. Yes, it was. Over on Civil, every single show, I got something cool to show you on Civil. And this one is called How Florida Beat California to High-Speed Rail. Yeah, it's a little documentary about this. Very interesting. And it chats about those issues that we just talked about. Let me show you, keep a couple seconds of it.
And the Iron Horse, the Earth Shaker,
Yes.
the Fire Breather, which
Yep.
tramples down the hills, which outruns the laggard winds,
Yep.
which leaps over the rivers,
Yes.
which grinds the rocks to powder and breaks down the gates of the mountain.
It does.
He too shall build an empire and an epic. Putnam's Magazine, 1853.
That was 1853. But Larry, the government, no. The government just said go. The government just said go. And the private sector built the railroads. That's the piece. The private sector built the railroads.
In the 19th century, trains moved America. The locomotive symbolized modernity and man's domination of nature. It connected the east and west coast and helped settle the frontier.
Yep.
And by 1916, rail accounted for 98% of intercity travel.
So I thought the private sector couldn't do that. Oh, but it did. It literally did. Yes.
And then everything changed.
And what changed was the car and the airplane.
Air travel
Yeah.
and the personal automobile, offering travelers the convenience of point-to-point mobility, led to the decline of passenger rail use. But
Yep.
trains were
And it goes down the entire thing and explains how Amtrak came around because Nixon took over Amtrak and made everything fail and made everything bad. The second government took over. Yes, that's how that works because that's how it always works. And then people forget that government didn't build in the first place. Government makes a problem, then tries to solve it, and then makes it worse, and then can't stop giving money away. Merry Christmas, government. Thought you guys might enjoy that one. So check out Civil if you can, CIVL.com. When you jump on that, put that code Larry in LAROI, which is the coolest name on the internet. When you do that, you get 50% off for the entire year. Yes, the entire year, $25 for the year, not per month, for the whole year. Every single time I do a show, I show you something cool. There's nothing but cool stuff on Civil. Check it out. Put in that code Larry, CIVL.com. We're making sure you get information without the conflict machine and also able to upgrade civilization. Check it out, code Larry. So I'm hoping you guys see what I keep popping up here, how government constantly makes things bad. Constantly. We can fix this. So let me grab a couple more of these if I can. All righty. Oh, Matt says, well, I just got back from him to put one of my cats down. I'm sorry to hear that. That's terrible. Yeah, I feel, people who don't have pets, or have never had pets, don't understand that they become part of the family. People go, well, they're not kids. Yeah, I get it. They're not kids. I get that. But it doesn't make them not part of the family, right? I've never owned a cat. I've owned many dogs. And every time I've had to put a dog down, it's emotional. It's part of the family. You lose part of the family. I'm sorry to hear that, Matt. That's terrible. So, all righty. Dave says, Larry, we have to go through environmental impact statements to protect or possibly protect endangered species that may or may not exist in a particular area. I get it. But again, it should be shall issue. If you can't find that species in whatever, 30 or 45 days, then I guess that species not there. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. I'm not against the environmental impact statement, but the impact statement often takes years. And what I'm saying is, no, you get X number of weeks or months, whatever's appropriate. I don't know enough about that to know what that time period is. For the sake of argument, 60 days. So we're going to build a thing. Let everybody know. We're going to build a thing. Whoever owns the property, whoever's nearby, let everyone know, 60 days. If you can't find the endangered turtle within 60 days, we're building. If there's a turtle there, it's going to have to figure some stuff out, or you better come get it, or it's gone. I'm okay with any of those options. If you want to come get the turtle because you love it so much, come get it. I'm not mad at you. You love that turtle? Go get the turtles. Put them someplace else. Enjoy. You want us to halt, building for a couple of days while you gather the turtles? Gather away. No worries. Keep your turtles. So, yes. All righty. Kim says, the greedy don't care who or what they poison or kill in order to put $1 in their pocket. The people don't care where a product comes from, just so it's the cheapest price. Americans do not. One of two? Oh, okay, hold on. You have another one here? Did I miss it? Americans do not support each other. They don't boycott. They don't stick together. and they never give anything back. Look at all the compost that goes into landfills that should be in the fields. I'm not sure about that, Kim. And the example I'll give you is when Americans get pissed off, they do punish. Sadly, for the wrong reasons, but they do. How about Bud Light? That shit worked. It does. When people get mad, it does work. How about when they boycotted Louis C.K.? That shit worked. So yes, they do. Sadly, I think for the wrong reasons, but they do. If we were to change around and stop worrying about virtue signaling all the time, and instead worry about actual things that matter, which is my whole point, we virtue signal constantly. If we wanted to go to the moon, as an example, since we brought the moon-based thing up, but whatever thing you think is important, Kim, we do the thing, and then a company says, well, I'm going to do it, and then doesn't do it, oh, they get hammered in the public. And then all of a sudden, no one's buying Bud Light anymore, and all of a sudden they go, we just kidding. We're going to the moon tomorrow. No, I think it does happen. People do care, but sadly for the wrong things. But I think we do find examples of boycotts working. They can work, right? So yes. Dave says, Larry, we can boycott a private bus company. A public bus company will still get paid regardless. That's my point. And you made it perfectly when it comes to a bus company. Rosa Parks couldn't work today. Rosa Parks would be a nobody today because the companies are public. Well, Larry, you could boycott it. Who cares? They get paid anyway. It's taxpayer dollars. They were all private bus companies. Oh, no one remembers that. They were all private bus companies. Well, the private sector can't take care of people. Took care of them every day. Brought people to work every day. That was the norm. If you ever watched The Honeymooners, which was a TV show that was set in Brooklyn, in the 50s, Ralph Cramden was a bus driver for the Gotham Bus Company. It was a private company that moved people throughout Manhattan on the bus every day. That's what he did for a living. Yeah. Rosa Parks, if it's a public company, a public bus company, and she boycotts, they don't care. They're getting paid. Your taxpayer dollars. You paying anyway. A private company? Oh my God, we got to change our policies. Yeah, private companies are affected. Government's not. You have been told a lie. I don't mean you specifically, Dave. I mean you people listening. That somehow government's responsible to us. That shit hasn't been true since maybe the revolution. Maybe. I'm probably exaggerating with that. Just isn't. They don't respond at all. They have no need to. Why would they? Doesn't matter what you think. Doesn't matter what you care. They don't respond to you. Private companies do respond. They don't have a choice because you just stop. You actually get together and boycott them. You actually punish them in social media. You affect their bottom line. Again, companies don't care. Kim's correct. They're greedy. They don't care. They will do the right thing if the right thing gets them money. So create an environment to where the right thing gets them money, and they will by default do the right thing, not because they care, but because they get the money. That's how that works. So yes. All righty. John says, California high-speed rail, even simple EV charging stations, billions spent, nothing built. Yes, it's the norm. That's the norm. Every single time, right? Every single time. Yes. Barna says, here in Northern Virginia, they started the Springfield Interchange, began in the 1960s, and was declared complete in 2007. Yeah. Yes. Again, the norm. The absolute norm. Missy says, use the join button to become a member. You get priority comments, special panel shows, special opportunities, a great community, and more. She's right. It's $6.99 per month, and it supports the show. True. She is absolutely correct. Guys, if you want to support me, there are a couple ways you can do so. Number one, you can head over to Sharpe YouTube, click that join button. It used to be $4.99, but YouTube decided it was going to charge $200. I didn't do it. YouTube just said it. I changed it. YouTube said no. I don't know why. They've just decided that this is what it is. So it is. $6.99 per month supports the show. Larry, $6.99. That's like 2 cups of coffee. True. You're not wrong. $6.99 is 2 cups of coffee. But I give you enough caffeine in one show. We're 2 cups. We're 2 cups in one show. Yes, it's true. So get you 2 cups in one show. Come on now. Worth it. Totally worth it. And I just finished my coffee. Mine's empty now. I got no coffee left, but I do have water left. People say, Larry, why do you always have 2 cups? Years ago, I had a voice coach who told me I drink a lot of coffee and it's going to mess my voice up. So I got to make sure I drink enough water to overcome the coffee. So every time I make a cup of coffee, I also get a cup of water so I can have both. I've been doing that for years now. So generally speaking, if it has a Neo Sage cup, that is my mug for coffee. If you notice, it matches that right there. That's my company. Yes. And then this one is just generic and it's water. Any case, I'm yapping away. $6.99 per month. Click that join button if you can. If you want it, you say, look, Larry, I don't want to give you $6.99. I want to give you $4.99. Okay. Go to Rumble. You go to Rumble and give me $4.99. You have to click the button though for Rumble. Subscribe only during the live. If you're watching this, it's not the live. You can't do it. I don't know why. Rumble. Look, Rumble makes up rules and so does YouTube. I don't make these rules. They're just the rules. So Rumble, you can do $4.99 if you want to, but it has to be during the live. If you've missed the live, you're stuck with $6.99. That's how that works. So hook me up, guys. It does matter. The more that membership I get, the more I can work on this, and the less I have to actually work outside of this, and I can do more shows more often. I won't have to skip shows. Often I'm so damn busy. My team knows I tend to be very busy. I do too much. I don't sleep. I would rather spend more time doing this. So hook me up, become a member. And you go, Larry, I can't do it. I don't got the cash. You don't have, okay. If you don't have the cash, no worries. You have enough cash to click the like button. That you got. You have enough cash for that. Click the button known as Lima India Kilo Echo. That you can do. And you can also share and repost this someplace else. That you can do. That's free. You don't have any money. You got a digit. I don't care which digit. You pick the digit. I'm not looking. Use any digit you want. No judgment. None. Pick a digit. Click the like button. Share, repost. Doing that, it does matter. Every bit counts. We're trying to grow this to the best of our ability. So yes. All righty. Let me grab through this if I can. All righty. I do like that one. All right. Mike says, yes, the Southern Wall was built until Dems. Of course, Dems stopped it. Of course they did. It wasn't built. How could Dems stop it if it was already built? It was being built. It was, we should complete the wall. Yes, we didn't complete the wall. So it wasn't built, Mike. It's more Republican propaganda. Stop listening to that stuff. I don't know why you keep believing it's Republican propaganda. It was never built. Now, was it started? Yes, it was started. You're totally correct. The wall was started. It was not completed. How could Biden stop it if it was built under Trump? Because it wasn't built under Trump. It was started under Trump. And I'm not blaming Trump for this. I'm not blaming Trump. I'm blaming the entire system. Biden couldn't have built it either. Neither could Obama. Nobody could have built the wall. It was impossible to build a wall. Why? Because we can't build shit in this country. So it doesn't matter. I'm not blaming. I know you don't want me to blame Trump. I know you love Trump. I'm not blaming Trump. I'm blaming the system. He did not finish it. He could not finish it. Nobody could finish it. It can't be built. It's America. We can't build shit. Just how that works. It can't be built. I wish it could be built. I wish it could be built. Absolutely. It'd be great. Minor Threat says AOC mature ad hominem. Yep, that's correct. That's how that works. That's absolutely true. Matt goes dangerous. Yes, absolutely. Yes. Mike got a lot to say. He says, I love Mount Rushmore. I do too. Mouse Utopia is the goal of a DSA because they claim to have a new ending based on feelings. I'm going to go yes, but I'm going to modify that, Mike. They don't believe Mouse Utopia is real. They don't believe it. That is their goal. You're correct. But they don't believe it. They think somehow this is different. They do believe it. You're right. It's based on feelings, but they believe it. This isn't like, they're not like making it up, meaning they're not just going, I want the world to end. No, they honestly believe it will be utopia. Clearly, you and I know that's not the case. Most people either don't pay enough attention to know or don't care and just want something to change. So they're not paying attention to the Mouse Utopia. That is literally on the edge. I'm with you. Yes. Michael's on to say AOC, who thinks she is the most important politician, is shut down. Same woman wants to train a trainer in Hawaii. Truly brain dead. The problem with AOC There's many. But the biggest issue, the reason why she cannot be the leader that she wants to be is because she goes off script too much. Her team doesn't keep her on script enough. She could be a very good Obama-like figure. Obama, as you know, I know you don't like Obama, but even you would respect that when Obama was on teleprompter, he was a master mover. That guy could move a crowd when he was on script. If you're a handler for AOC, you got to keep this woman on script. When she goes off script, she screws up. Now, Obama did too, but Obama's screw up wasn't like he said so many dumb things. He said some here or there, but it was mostly he spoke like he didn't know what he was talking about. He a lot of that. On teleprompter, Obama was a master. Keep that man on script. He's moving the crowd. People are like, oh my God, yes, 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 all good. She needs to be on script. If any of her handlers happen to be watching, keep that woman on script if you want her to be anybody. You get her off script, she's going to say stupid shit like that. Keep her on script. She's not a bad speaker. You know, again, when on script, she's not a bad speaker. And she does have enough charisma, particularly for Democrats. She's enough charisma. I mean, she's up against people like Schumer. So she's got enough charisma to move that forward. She needs to be on script. If I was her handler, I'm even for TikToks, like I'm writing her TikToks for her, right? I'm going to have someone. I mean, I probably couldn't. I'm not a good TikToker, but I'll have someone on the team write a TikTok for her. Say this, do this. Don't do 410 short shaming. We're trying to get men, AOC. Don't do that. I wouldn't have had to do that. So yes. Becky says it. Making fun of a man's height appearance, not going to help. True. Not going to help. Yes, absolutely. Liberty says, the fact that I'm going to have to listen to AOC for the next 30 years drives me effing bananas. She's next Pelosi. Maybe. Like or hate Pelosi. And I'm not a Pelosi fan. You guys know I try to give people credit where credit is due. Pelosi was no dummy. Number one, she was no dummy. And she was ruthless. Pelosi, and still is. I shouldn't say was. She still is, but I mean, she was in charge. She's still a smart person. She's smart. Pelosi is smart. You may not like her or think she's bad and even selfish, and she is all those things too. But she is also smart and ruthless. She learned that shit from her dad. Her dad was the same. Her dad was basically a mafia guy. Basically, I don't mean to be mean, but you do a homework on who she is. Basically a mobster. And he was ruthless and smart, and she learned that shit from him. And she is ruthless and smart. That's why she got there. AOC is not ruthless. And she's nowhere near as smart as Pelosi. So can she move up? Yes. The same way Obama did. Now, Obama actually is also smart. Like Obama figured out some stuff. Obama was able to talk about things, not do, but talk about things that Biden never talked about. I mean, Biden didn't know a damn thing, right? But Obama spoke about things at least. He's like, oh, that's a problem. Here's an issue. He didn't have any good answers, but at least Obama was at least intelligent. He was a smart guy. Still is. I keep saying was because he was president, but he's still a smart guy. He's not dumb. Anyway, I'm trying to give people credit where credit is due, showing their weaknesses and strengths, and understanding that if you're gonna work with these people, you've got to work with them in the right way. So, yes. Alrighty. Andrea says, so they can make fun of a guy's height, but say anything about a woman's looks and people go off. Double standard. True. Absolutely. Yes. True. Yes. Rick says, who's leader of the club that's killing you and me? You and me. AOC, Donald Trump, AOC, Donald. I like that. It's pretty good. Pretty good. I like that. That, by the way, the guys don't know, is the Mickey Mouse Club. So yes, I like that. So, all righty. Let's see. Oh, you guys like her little train thing. She did want to train. That's true. Now look, would it be better to have some way of getting to Hawaii faster? Yes, it would be. I don't think it's a train. Be amazing. Be amazing, man. Okay. Could you make, in theory, I'm gonna walk down this road because you guys, I got a bunch of you guys doing this. Here, take the train on, I'll meet you at the station, 2 days to paradise. So you guys are all on that. Michael, of course, insults her. So yes, okay. So okay, let me touch this. Because you guys keep bringing this up. Could you make a train to Hawaii? In theory, you probably could. the amount of money and time it would take wouldn't make any sense at all. But could you go deep enough in the ocean to where all the horrible storms and stuff that hit the Pacific Ocean wouldn't affect your thing? You could, in theory. But you know how deep the Pacific Ocean is? Are you going to float that thing? Are you going to go to the bottom? And I mean, the amount of money you would have to spend and time and of course, what if a whale hits it or whatever, right? So the amount of strength. I mean, do I love the idea of someone deciding to? Sure, but nobody would do it because it would just be a massive, a multi-$100 billion boondoggle that would never make enough money to pay it back unless you somehow could make the train go from California to Hawaii to Japan. Then maybe after 100 years, maybe you can make your money back, assuming by the time 100 years goes by, we don't have some other technology that like slingshot you to Japan in 10 minutes or something. So I say that because I love the idea. I do. I love the concept of doing something crazy like that. But I mean, yeah, anyway, I don't think she thought of any of that. So yeah, she thought of none of that. So, all right. Anyway. All right. Let's see here. Mike says, correct. All Dems voted against CR due to demand for perks. Republicans voted to fund country. So Dem shutdown is correct. It doesn't matter. This is the part that doesn't matter, right? This is blame game. Who cares? It doesn't matter. Whoever's the president, it's your goddamn job. If this was under Biden, I'd say the same thing. And I did. When the government shuts down, it's the president's fault. Period. Whoever the president, it's that person's fault. Period. You're supposed to lead the country. You're supposed to have the bully pulpit. You're supposed to unite the country. You're supposed to. They don't, but they're supposed to. So since you don't, now, we haven't had a country anywhere near united since, maybe Clinton, kinda-ish. And I'm stretching with Clinton. Maybe. So, with Bush after 9/11, maybe. That was for a short time there, maybe. That's about it. No, you're the president. You're supposed to motivate your people to move forward, to find a consensus. You're a Speaker of the House. Do your goddamn job. It's your fault then. I don't care. Well, it's because they did. So you're proving that I'm right by giving me reasons why I'm correct? I don't care. The excuses don't matter. That's the distraction piece, right? I don't care. I don't care. You're running shit. Get it done. If I'm the president of a company, I need to move it forward. If I'm the leader of something, I have to move forward. It's because this. So I don't care. Move this shit forward. Make the compromise. Fix it. Or if you're the Republican Party, well then why did you decide to take all your people out of Congress and put them in a cabinet if you knew you weren't going to fill the Congress up with enough people? How come you can't get Massey to say yes? Or whatever is it? Or get some Democrats, whatever. I don't care. How is irrelevant? And I say this recognizing that I've been responsible too. For those of you who know, I got my ass kicked in 2022. And I have a bazillion excuses as to why. The system was against me. I did get screwed in court. I got screwed every way, shape, and form. And guess whose fault it is, Mike? Mine. Me. I take responsibility for that. It's mine. Even though I can give excuses as to why I got my ass kicked, the judges were garbage. It's true. People were there. People watching were physically there. They saw how I was literally robbed, how they made up rules, literally made up rules on the fly to stop me. And again, I said that publicly. People were there and watched them do it. They made up rules. They ignored me. So what? I'm just explaining why I was screwed. I'm explaining why it was my fault. It's my responsibility either way. His responsibility. That's an excuse. So, all righty. Gray says, keep the government out of it and Americans can build anything. True. That's true. Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Brona says, laugh at Republicans and mock short people. This is a good positive fix the country. Yes. Grace says, young men might start building a camp soon. I've been saying that, Grace. Gen Alpha, if we don't fix this country, if we don't fix what we're doing, Gen Alpha builds the camps. You'll see. You will see. If we don't make things better, if we don't give them hope, they build the camps. Absolutely. Yes. So, all righty. Let's see if I can go down here. Let's see here. Patty says, doesn't the right control everything from Perez to Supreme Court? So how did the left shut it down? Well, a couple of Republicans voted against it. Was it MTG? I think that Mike will know. Mike pays attention closer than I do on that things. I think it was MTG and Thomas Massey. Is that right? I think that's true. Anyway, a couple voted against it. But that don't, again, to my point, I don't care. Your job to fix it. Those excuses. So they got to fix it. That's the point. You're responsible. Fix it. Rick says, we need to rebrand capitalism or call free markets liberty with a less pejorative word. Yes, I do. If you notice, you don't hear me say free markets. I say consumer driven. One step ahead of you, Rick. It is consumer driven. We need a consumer driven answer. That's all. Yes. All righty. Matt goes on. Thank you for being a member, Matt. Matt, all these people sound like a bunch of idiot 3-year-olds running about the other side. Yep. Other guy bad. It's because Republicans. It's because Dems. Get shit done. I don't care. Get shit done. I don't care. Rick says it's a fantabulous night for a moon base. I would love that. I would love that. The moon base is cool. Libertarian Sam says moon base equals higher ground and resources for the rest of space exploration. Yes, absolutely. Mana Threat says, come on, Larry. There are many things young people can get into versus the moon or Mars. True. But but there is a historical or cultural context here, Mana Threat. There is. You're right. They can. They often don't. What they're getting into now is here's the problem. Many of them, the youth particularly, us too as older people, I'm a little bit older, a little bit. Many of us are kind of stuck in our own bubbles. We watch the same things in our little bubble. Many of us are. I literally have 4 or 5 YouTube accounts, so I can have different bubbles that I can be in. But most people don't do that. They have one and they just stay in the same bubble, whatever that bubble is. So I think because of that, we don't usually get something that's overwhelming like the whole area. Government can still do that. So when the government says, we're going to go do this thing or do that thing, that becomes more universal compared to my own bubble, if that makes any sense. So I think because of that, there's a better chance if they say something like a moon base or Mars. Plus, most people still think like Neil deGrasse Tyson does. Well, if it's space exploration, a government has to do it. So even if we just said it and not necessarily put much effort into it and just let, an Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos or whomever, I don't know who'd be better for the moon, whatever, whoever that person is, if we even just talked about it and motivated people, I could see it. Thomas says, manned mission to Mars would also be an effective aspiration. Yes, agreed. I like that. Yes, I like that. Rick's got jokes. Send the woke to Uranus. Some of them will be okay with it. Joel says, the Space 79 Eagle is my favorite sci-fi vehicle. I literally had the big one that you had, the Eagle, when I was a kid. And I remember what was cool about it is you could pop off the back and the front of it, and you can make like a little mini Eagle. Have you heard that? You can make that. You can pop the back and the front. And you even had a little astronauts you could put inside. And I used to play with them when I was a kid. Oh, I loved it. I love that. So yes, the Eagle for those who don't know, the Eagle is like they're basically ships that they use on the moon, and they can either be used for like cargo or they can be used as warships. They're just like little shuttles that fly around. And they're called Eagles. That's what they're called. And they were very cool because you could like pick them up cargo ships and put troops or stuff in them, or they're like lasers and you could shoot. So it was cool. I did enjoy that. So that was nice. Masterman Hour says the moon is a spaceship. Well, I like that. It kind of is. It kind of is. But in this TV show, it was literally one. So, yes. There we go. Mana Threat said, I'd rather not push youth to not be self-centered navel gazers by serving a higher purpose, i.e. help others and build family community. Agreed. I'm not saying you're wrong on this, but government's really bad at that. Yes, but government's bad at that. Local communities are better at that. So what government can do is say, we should go to the moon because it's hard. That we can do well. So I'm just saying if I'm going to be a big government guy. I think I want to talk about big government stuff. So I'm not saying you're wrong, but Clinton tried to do AmeriCorps. That shit didn't work. But yeah. Anyway. All right. Matt says influencers are so dumb, or rather the kids that worship them are. But here's the problem, Matt. You're calling them dumb. Some of the influencers are. Some of them are. But the kids are just kids. They're seeing people who are doing things. And they say, oh, they're doing stuff. I want to go do stuff. I want to go be followed. I want to be cool. They're kids. All kids want to do that. So I think the kids aren't the dumb ones. Some of the influencers are dumb. It's true. But we have to provide them with better people to look up to. And we have not done a good job of that. Grace, is a teacher friend of mine said that kids have forgotten about college because they can earn more money on TikTok. They aren't wrong. True. And people now who are getting, you see it every place, people getting laid off, particularly women, men too, but particularly women. You're finding women who are getting laid off and saying, I'm just going to become a content creator. How's that going to go when millions of women become content creators? It's going to flood the market, make them all terrible. Yeah, absolutely. So, any case, all righty. John says, yes, I remember Space 1999. And like Larry, I assumed I'd be able to work on our moon base after college. Me too. Yes. We thought the same. Mike and I was the other day. We're like, yeah, we're going to be like guards on the moon or something. That's what we thought. Yes. He's born in 62. Yeah. I was born around that time. Not really. No. I'm not going to tell you when. Anyway, never happened. True. It never happened. Yes. 100%. So, all righty. And Grace was going to say, at least the moon base would inspire kids. Yes. That's the important piece. Yes, absolutely. Mana Threat says 2 pie in the sky. What are you talking about, Mana Threat? They think they're going to be the next whatever. Who's the cool? I mean, they don't like Joe Rogan, do they? Whatever. Whoever the cool influencer kid is. What's the one of them? Michaela, or is she still cool? I don't know. Whoever is the cool TikToker. They think they're going to be that. It's pie in the sky too. They're not going to fish and hunt. Those who already want to fish and hunt, I don't have to push. They're doing it already. But the vast majority just think, oh, I just see whoever the new cool kid is, right? Whatever. I don't know. Back in the day it was PewDiePie. I don't know enough of the cool ones now. Whatever the cool one is, they think they're going to be that one. They're going to, oh, Mr. Beast. That's the cool guy, Mr. Beast, right? I'm going to be Mr. Beast. They think that. That's not pie in the sky. Of course it is. And they're all over it. They all think they're going to be the newest influencer or content creator or marketer. They all think they're going to be that. So yes. So, all right. Brana says, to be clear, I am not a flat earther, but I do question the moon landings. I mean, a tin can cruising through that silly Van Allen radiation belt and all. I don't know. I don't care. I like the idea of us doing it. So I'm going to say we did it. I don't care if we did it or not. So I'm just going to believe it, Brana, because I want to believe it. I don't care if it's true. Yes, we did it. Because it makes me feel good. So I'm gonna make Mike Voss go nuts. I'm just gonna make my feelings make facts. Done. It is done. There we go. Michael says, hate to burst your bubble, but then went to the moon. La 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 la. Not hearing you, Michael. La 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 la. Not hearing you. I have deemed it true because it makes me feel good. So we did. Mastermind Hour says the moon landing was a psyop because it spirit of Russians. Again, I'm ignoring all of you. I'm just believing it because Matt says Neil Tyson used to be awesome. True. That went down the toilet, but he used to be. What broke so many of them? So many of them was the lockdowns. So many of them that actually happened. The lockdowns wrecked them because when the lockdowns happened, they all had a choice to make and they just jumped on it. They jumped and wrecked them and it showed who they are. Yes, I completely agree. Yeah. Matt says, yeah, Japan has like 8 different train companies. Yeah, people always go, government has to run it. We should run trains like Japan. They're private companies. They're private companies. What? That can't be true because only government can do this. We should run like Japan. Oh, so we should then, excuse me, have private companies. Yes, correct. All righty. And Mike goes on the Shinkansen. Yes, that's the bullet train. Absolutely. That is the bullet train. I appreciate that. All righty. And minus asks, where does Larry stand on government subsidies for private companies that do larger projects such as high-speed rail? Do you have to ask that question, Aaron Threat? Do you think I'd be for government subsidies? Is that what you think? Just for the record, not just no, but hell no. Of course not. Now, would I want government protections maybe as they're starting to build? Maybe, right, to help move things along. Maybe government pushing, maybe a governor, say, pushing past things to move things forward faster. Maybe, I could see that. Maybe, but not subsidies, no. So, all right, I'm over on Instagram. Emmanuel says, just tuned in quickly because I'm at work. Well, thank you. I'm glad you watched anyway. I'm glad you came on. Yes, love that. All righty. Anne-Marie AI boss. She's the AI boss. She's over on Rumble and she says, AI will be taking teacher jobs soon enough. True. That's true. For those of you who don't know that, that's true. AI is going to be devastating the teaching field. And teachers will fight it because they have powerful unions and they'll fight it. But how you know it's going to happen is the wealthy will make it happen. And then others will start also. They'll start homeschooling with it. AI is a very good tutor already. It's not a great teacher. It's a decent teacher, but it's a great tutor, meaning how do I move forward from A to B? My kids already use them to learn all types of things. And they actually ask AI to put together a type of like lesson plan and walking through it and such. It's amazing. It's great. Soon you'll need like one teacher where you used to need 3. That'll start happening. So yeah, the education is gonna be devastated. People are just gonna stop going to school, which I'm not mad at either. Our school system is garbage right now anyway. So shaking it up is something a bad thing. So yeah. Mass Nawa says, we lost our 17-year-old cat last month. Terrible, but at least he really did last 17 years. You got good 17 years out of him. I know it doesn't make him all of a sudden good, but I'm glad you got 17 years. That's 17 years you got. That's good. Barna says, government makes things bad. I'm running for governor. Lala can resist. Yes, so I can fix things. Yes. Sadly, if we had, as Roger keeps talking about, whenever Roger comes on, he talks about citizen ballot initiatives. If you have citizen ballot initiatives that could affect that could affect things to include the Constitution, you might not have to become a governor. You could do it through citizen ballot initiative in theory, if you can get the people to do it, if you can get people to agree. Otherwise, governor is the only way to change things. Yeah. So I can accept that government makes things bad and sit home and do nothing. That's option 1. Option 2 is I can run for governor and at a minimum, get people to hear what I'm saying. And as Patty said, some people are using some of my ideas. So change ideas, number 1. Number 2, get in and actually change things. So yes, correct. I'm with you. So, all righty. Tom says Bad Bunny isn't doing the Super Bowl because of back. Is that true? Did he back out? I did not hear that. I actually didn't hear that. Is that true? Well, there we go. So the private sector, again, is affected. Yes. There it is. Yes. Matt says the honeymooners is great. They were great. It's the thing to remember about, for those of you who don't know, I had my oldest daughter who is a storyteller or went to school for it. I had her watch the honeymooners. And she was like, why do you want me to watch this? I said, because this is the origin of basically every single family comedy show ever. Every other show is the honeymooners. From Flintstones to Family Guy to, I don't know, you King of Queens, Simpsons. They're all an offshoot of honeymooners. Honeymooners is the core. That's where it stops. Right then and there. So yes. Shelly says, why I oughta. Yeah, back when it was okay to threaten your wife with violence. I guess Neil deGrasse Tyson would say you can't stop that. So, because that's how it's always been. So I guess it's okay. Yes. Oh my God, we have packed a bunch of these. All right. Joel says, one of these days, Alice, right to the moon. Yep. Domestic violence jokes. Yes. That used to be okay. Yes. Can it Corey Apple? Oh my God. Yes. You remember that one? For those of you who don't remember, that's a great episode where they actually go on TV and they try to sell these apple corn things that they found, and they want to sell them on a TV commercial, and Ralph completely freezes and screws up and does everything poorly. Yeah, I remember that was a good one. I like that one. It was good. Yes. Shredan is over on Rumble. He goes, "Who is Bad Bunny?" He's some type of musician. The cool kids, I guess, supposedly like him. I don't know. And I guess he's bad because I don't know why he's bad for whatever reason. People got mad at him for something. This is pop culture shit. I don't know. So Bad Bunny is some musician, and for some reason, people don't like Bad Bunny. I don't know why. And they got mad. And according to the chat, he said he's not going to do the Super Bowl now. That's it. There we go. I hope that's helpful. So, any case. All right. All right. Oh my God, you guys are doing the jokes now? Peanuts, Alice. Peanuts. What are we going to do with peanuts? Eat them like any other elephant. That's when he was trying to make a bunch of money. He always had a get rich quick scheme. Always. That's true. So yes, another nice one. All right, let me see here. Little bit says, if you don't share this, you want the government to build everything. True. So stop supporting the government like that, and instead share this. She's right. Yes. All right. So many of these. I'm just so surprised on how many of these you guys. I appreciate all of these. I'm so surprised how many of you know the honeymooners. I didn't think that was going to be a thing. So Grace says, Obama is just likable, and I'm against everything he's for. But there's something that makes people want to have the proverbial beer with him. He has charisma. Again, look, I'm being clear about this. Obviously, I'm not an Obama fan, but I can't take away the guy has charisma. He absolutely does. He still has it. He gets up and talks. He's still got charisma. The guy absolutely is charismatic. That's true. You cannot like someone and still. I try my best for many reasons. I try for many reasons to give people the benefit of the doubt and credit where credit is due for the following reasons. I don't want you guys to think that I'm saying bad things about someone and that I'm so colored by my emotions. I am sometimes colored by my emotions. Of course I am. I'm still human. But I try to be as lightly colored by my emotions as possible. That's what I will say. Not just that. I wear my libertarianism on my sleeve, obviously, right? Mike called me out on it the other day. Right, I do, 100%. But I tell you up front, that's who I am. That's how I act. So I can say what I like and I don't like when I'm wearing my libertarianism on my sleeve, but I still try my best to call balls and strikes. But it's a second piece here. I say how people should act or shouldn't act, even when I don't like them, when I think they're wrong, because I want to turn people. I have to have empathy for them or I can't turn them. My goal is to get people to support my views, to support my ideas. If I just insult them like AOC does and insult them with, whatever, call them short or something, they're not going to come my way. But if I understand them and I say good things about the people that they like, they at least will hear me. That piece really matters. So, yes. All right. Let's see. Fran says, I was against almost every Obama policy, but truly saw him as a statesman. He knows how to speak to people. True. You're not wrong. He knows how to do it. He absolutely does. Yes, it's true. So, Mastermind says a tunnel be easier. Well, yeah, you can do a tunnel, but the only problem is how deep do you go? Right? And the Pacific Ocean is pretty deep. Do you go underground? Do you go in the water somehow and post this up? I don't know. Anyway, it'd be crazy. It'd be expensive as hell. So yeah, it'd be expensive as hell. So Mike says, no, you can't make a train in Hawaii. Physics would not allow it. You can find a way. It'd be crazy. It'd be insane. So much. Yeah. Grace says, may as well build the moon base if you're going to build the train in Hawaii. I'd rather build the moon base. You can make your money back in the moon base. If you actually said, I'm going to take 100 billion or whatever the amount of base dollars it would take to build a train to Hawaii. If you actually built it, you'd make no money. It would just be a loss. The amount of people somebody would probably use it because it'd be cool. Somebody would use the train. I don't know who would. Somebody would for sure. You'd have to make a ticket. I don't know, $100,000 for a ticket to try to make any money back. somebody would do it. Like some rich guy would be like, I'm going to go take the train. Somebody would. But for it to actually work, there's no way you'd be able to have a ticket price that will be worth it so you can make any money. It's just no way. And then let one thing go wrong. Yeah, there's no way. So yeah, absolutely. So Mike goes, California can't get a train from North to South California for 25 years into a bay. True. Yes. Oh, Joel says, wait a minute. Hovercraft train. Andrea's like, teleport is more feasible. By the time we built, that's my point, Andrea, however many decades it would take to build this train to Hawaii, by the time we actually built the train to Hawaii, we'd probably have some kind of teleporter, right? We'd have something else that would be better, faster, and stronger by the time we built the damn thing, however long it would take, right? So, yeah. Anyway, yes, that was kind of funny. All right. Joel says, dumb criminals go to prison. Smart criminals get elected to Congress. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. So, all righty. John said, President Obama had not only control of both the House and the Senate, but had a filibuster-proof majority in the Senate. They could pass any laws they wanted to pass, and only pass Obamacare. This is what I bring them all the time. If you lean left or you lean right, whichever way you lean, and you support Republicans and or Democrats, you're not getting what you want. Is that how it works? Right? To your point, over the past 30 years, Democrats have had at least one time where they've run the House, the Senate, the judges, and the presidency at the same time. At least once, not twice. Right? And then some other combination. So if you lean left, where's your Medicare for all? Best you can get was Obamacare, which basically was Romney care. So the best you can get, if you're a Democrat, is watered down Republican answer. That's the best you can get. Where's your Medicare for all? Where was your codification of Roe v. Wade? Isn't that what they promised you? Obama promised that. Haven't Democrats promised that for years? Where is that? If you're a Republican, right? Where is your balanced budget amendment? Weren't you promised that? Republicans have owned the House, the Senate. Where's that? Where's your comprehensive immigration reform? You didn't get that. They still haven't fixed DACA yet. What you getting that? You ain't getting that. Don't get me wrong. Trump closed the border. That's true. But that's not immigration reform. That's closing the border, which I'm not mad at. I'm just saying that's not immigration reform. Where's that? Nowhere. They're not. I told Joe Rogan on his show that they don't want to fix things. And I was right then. And I'm right now. You're correct. They don't want to fix it. They won't fix it. They have no reason to fix it. Yes. Fran, they can become a member. This country has lacked a true leader sitting in the White House for decades. Congress is a larger disgrace. The tired blame game is over. I'm sick of it. I'm with you 100%. A lot of libertarians say, I'm glad Congress is stuck and won't do anything. Then nothing gets done. That's great. That's a terrible idea. Because when Congress is stuck, what happens is the president becomes stronger. And the president starts doing executive orders all over the place. That's how it actually works. So we get a stronger president because Congress won't do anything. Well, you might say, wait a minute, then Congress will fight back for its power. No, it won't. Remember, it is a two-party system. A two-party system means all I care about is blame. As you just saw, I showed you. Blame, blame, and more blame. So why would I want to do anything? I'll be responsible for it. I don't want to be responsible for it. Think about this. We've been at war perpetual war since the 50s, right? We haven't declared war since the 40s. No war is Congress's fault. Every war is the president's fault. So why would the Congress want to get involved? They're happy. They don't want to get involved. They don't want that at all. They're happy that doesn't work. Of course. Yes. So, all righty. Thomas says, a man rubbed a lamp and a genie came out. And he said, for freeing me, I'll grant you one wish. So he asked from a bridge from Idaho to Hawaii. The genie responded with, that's impossible. Can you ask something else? The man asked if he could make him fully understand women. The genie asked, how many lanes do you want on that bridge? See, Mike, it can be done if you have a genie. Did you think of that? You didn't, did you? See? Thomas thought about a genie. Mike, you didn't. That's your problem. So there we go. All righty. Let me keep going here. Let's see here. Mike says, Massey and Rand. There we go. I knew Mike would know. Massey and Rand voted against. Didn't matter as they didn't decide to vote. All but one Dem voted against, and that's why. It was calculated risk by Schumer, Jeffries to start momentum for 2026. Fail. I think you're saying fail. You're doing what you do often. You're counting chickens. They haven't hatched yet. I'm not sure. I think we got to see how this thing goes. All the government layoffs, how do people take it? Right now, I am surprised how few people seem to care about the shutdown. This is right now going in Trump's favor, no doubt. It is going currently in Trump's favor. But you're counting them chickens already. We don't know. A month from now, that may not be true. I'm not saying you're wrong, Mike. I'm saying we got a good 30 days before we're going to look and see how does this spin? Does this spin into, oh, Trump took my job? Does it spin to that? Or does the Democrat, shutdown, does Schumer shutdown land? I know you like it, but you count your chickens early. I'm not counting my chickens yet. I'm not sure that's true. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying you're doing it early. I would be waiting. I'm not sure. So Robert says, after Newsom admitted eminent domain was used to grab some of the land tracts we built in California, I wouldn't care if that train ever got built. Yeah, see, you bring a valid point, right? The idea of government building it also is an issue because there's just grabbing stuff at eminent domain, and government does it all the time, right? Constantly. They grab land with eminent domain and then don't even fix it. It's a double smack. So they took my land and nothing happened. Terrible. So, all righty. Let's see here. Grace says, speaking of Massey, Trump supporters are funding a challenger to Massey, an Army vet. I forget his name. Let's hope everybody forgets his name. Yes. So humans go to the moon, says Patty, and destroy that to instead of fixing the Earth. Well, here's an issue, right? If you go to the moon, I'm not sure you could realistically terraform the moon. Actually, I don't know. I've never actually thought about it. I don't think you can. Because can you terraform a satellite? I mean, maybe. I don't actually know. I don't know if the moon can be terraformed. Is there water in the moon at all? I don't think there's any water in the moon. I don't think there is. If there's water on the moon, I don't think there is, then I guess it's possible you could terraform it, I guess. But I don't think you'd be destroying the moon. It would just be a base. You'd have to build some form of habitat on the moon that would be resistant to both radiation and also meteor strikes and things like that. You have to come up with some kind of shield, whatever that will be, or structure that would defend against both radiation and meteor strikes, so you wouldn't lose everybody there. And then you have to create some type of base where you could, build ships and shoot them off the moon. You'd have to go to Mars. Mars can be terraformed. With technology we have right now, we could, in theory, make the Mars like Earth in about 1,000 years. Now, obviously, as we keep moving, our technology gets better and better. So it's probably more like 50 to 100 years as technology gets better. AI is going to help make that happen, all that stuff. So it's probably a lot less now, but you eventually could terraform Mars into being very Earth-like. It wouldn't be perfect because you'd also have to worry about a magnetic field. So Mars does not have the same magnetic field that Earth has. So either you have to somehow create a magnetic field in some way, shape, or form, again, some technology piece, or you have to have some kind of shield or barrier that would act like a magnetic field without having a magnetic field. So could it be done? Sure. Now, could you terraform it to where it has water and grass and stuff like that? That can be done with our current technology in a little under 1,000 years. So again, eventually technology gets better, AI, shorter, and then you have to figure out the magnetic field problem. I don't know how you fix it, obviously, but that's another challenge. You'd have to find a way to make that happen, whatever that is. Would you change the core of Mars? Would you put some kind of chain link fence equivalent on Mars? I don't know, whatever. They'd have to find the answer, or they couldn't terraform it. So I think you would do it in some way. So, and again, doing that would help protect Earth from those types of things, right? So everything would be protected. So the hope would be that if you actually start to terraform Mars, some people would actually have more pride in Earth. That would be the hope. And how you learn to clean up Mars, you'd use to clean up Earth. That would be the thought process. I hope that's true. That's what I want to happen. So yes. All righty. Kay John, thank you for the $10. Hi, Larry in chat. Busy packing to go to the Island tomorrow for Mom's 100th birthday. Oh, that's amazing. We'll be busy, but listening. Hope you're all doing good. By the way, Obama has zero charisma, in my opinion. Warhawks and liars are gross. Well, yes, but you got to remember, let me give you pushback. He had so much charisma that he won a Nobel Peace Prize while bombing 7 countries. Take that, Trump. Can you fix that one? Trump, can you win a Nobel Peace Prize while bombing 8 countries? Can you beat Obama? I don't think anyone will ever beat, literally bomb, as you put that perfectly. Will anyone beat that? Bombing 7 countries and get a Nobel Peace Prize. That's some charisma right there. Just saying. Thank you for the $10. I hope you have a safe trip. Mama being 100 is amazing. Good for you. Good for you. So, yes. All righty. Let's see here. All right. Michael says, S is really effed. People are pacified by bread and circuses and the rectangles. If people lose their rectangles, maybe we can fight to keep our freedoms. Yeah, right. There are 2 concepts. I brought this up once before that writers and futurists thought on how they would pacify us. One was the 1984 model, which was with violence and fear, right? And the second one was with the Brave New World model, which is drugs and, pacification. It's much more the latter. There's some of the former, but it's much more the latter. We're much more Brave New World than we are 1984, right? In that regard, but we're both. Yes. So Robert says, nope, give me the turtle. I want to see the turtles and the orcas and the whales. Great. I'm happy to do that. Yes. I'm happy to do that. Yes. Take them. Yep. All righty. So many of these guys. Okay. Someone likes my rectum joke. It was cute. It was a cute joke. Yes. John says, tell Neil Armstrong we never went to the moon. You may get punched in the face. True. But it wasn't Neil Armstrong. It was was it Buzz Aldrin? No. It wasn't Neil Armstrong who punched the guy, though. It was the other. It wasn't him. It was someone else. But right? Am I right? I think it was like Buzz Aldrin or something. Yeah. So yeah. Anyway. All righty. Let's see here. Grab some more of these. Shelley says, AI doesn't know the difference between lead and lead, but I've known some teachers who don't know that either. True. Yes. Matt says, I hope your kids also double check some of the S AI spits out. Yeah, but doesn't mean that the teachers don't spit out garbage too. But no, the goal of AI being a tutor, I think is very valuable. Help them to check their work, move through things, know what order to go. And more importantly, the world is going AI. Now, that's a good and a bad thing, right? That's a good and a bad thing. The bad thing is that, to your point, people are going to start just believing AI, but people believe Google, people believe Wikipedia. So people believe the talking head they're talking to, right? So I think there's some of that already. So we have to be more discerning in general, and we're not. But the second piece is people are trying to stop AI. We should ban it, regulate it, whatever. As you've heard me say before, AI is a weapon system. It's going nowhere. In the next, 5 years, 3 years, whatever the number is, it's going to control the battlefield. There is no way America is going to let that not happen for America. No way. We don't build anything except bombs and bombers and missiles. And even those are getting crappy. The Chinese are building those too now. So yeah, that's all we build. And to Mike's point earlier, well, it'll be gone in 10 years. The Chinese, doesn't matter. They're building simpler stuff. They got some big stuff too, but they're also building simpler stuff. So yeah, that's a problem. So, but I think, look, the world's going AI. It just is. And if the kids don't know how to use it and aren't comfortable with it, they're behind. They're going to be behind. I don't want my kids to be behind. So I want them using it because everyone else does it. So yes. So anyway. All righty. Green SK says, can we sue the city for nepotism with Mayor Eric Adams? No. And the reason why is twofold. One, it is that what he's doing is actually legal and precedent and normal. I'm not joking. I'm not saying it's right, to be clear. I'm not saying it's right, but everyone does it. And the one thing I liked about Eric Adams, and I'm giving credit where credit is due, when he was questioned on it, when he gave his buddy and his sister a job, I'm not joking. Like he made his sister deputy mayor, like stuff like that. And the press said, "What are you doing?" Blah blah blah. And he says, "Now you can be mad at me." He was very forward. He goes, "Everyone has been doing this for years. The mayor's been given. Literally, De Blasio gave his wife a job and gave her, depending on who you talk to, anywhere from $800 million to $1 billion, and she lost it. Gone. I'm not making that up. That's a real thing. And that was De Blasio. So that's the norm in New York. In New York City, you give your cronies, friends, jobs in the administration, and you give them money. Is what you do. They all do it. I'm not saying it's correct. I'm not saying it's ethical. I'm saying it's done all the time. Why is Eric Adams the bad guy? I don't mean to be cruel. I'm just being forward. Why is he the bad guy? De Blasio did it. So did Bloomberg. They all do it. It's corruption is normal in New York City. It's the way of doing things. If you ever notice in New York, when people go to jail, when they get accused of a crime, corruption, they never say they didn't do it. Their defense isn't, I didn't do it. They absolutely did it. And they know they did it. What's their excuse? Their excuse is, I had to. It's the only way to get stuff done. And they're not wrong. They're not wrong. It's still illegal in certain cases. In the case of New York City, it's not even illegal. You can be, again, it's in New York State law, New York City law. You can be, I'm not joking, a political consultant and a public servant. You can be both. Now, that's not legal federally. It's legal in the state. It's legal in the city. So, yes. So, no, they can't. To answer your question, no, they can't be. So, yes. All right. Rick says, fake news on Bad Bunny. Okay, fake news. There we go. Thank you. I didn't know that was true. Yeah. Yes. All right. Bronna says, awesome response. Yes. I just accept it as true. Yes. Done. Rick Reynolds says he's still doing the Super Bowl. Don't believe crap on social media, especially stuff that appears to the right. Nice. That's good. That's very good. There we go. All righty. Kim says Reagan was a political genius and intelligent. Clinton was smart in a sneaky way. George Bush Jr. probably the least intelligent president, and his dad probably the second least intelligent. George was not a very intelligent man compared to others, right? Most executives in general tend to be more intelligent than the people in Congress and the Assembly. It's a good general rule. Executives tend to be more intelligent, and our presidents tend to have better IQs overall. So relative to other presidents, George W. Bush had a low IQ. He was not smart compared to the presidents. I don't think he was that dumb compared to the average American, but compared to the presidents, it's true. He was not the most intelligent. In his era, he wasn't the smartest one. It's true. Most executives tend to have high IQs, tend to be very smart. So yes, it's true. All righty. Matt says a train to Hawaii would have to be in the trillions. Would it be trillions? Yeah, maybe. I made that number up of hundreds of billions, but maybe trillions. I could see it. Matt Cozona say all the Instagram TikTokers would ride the train. They would. They'll be doing oh, look at me. I'm on the train to Hawaii. Yeah, that's who would take it. The influencers would take the train. It's exactly who would take it. Yes. Absolutely. So, all righty. Robert says, I don't know how much I agree with government doesn't respond to the people. The government responded fast in the private sector regarding civil rights laws. I don't think that's true at all. I don't think that's true at all. I mean, okay, first off, if you're going to say that, if it was, that was 70 years ago. So 70 years ago, it responded for one thing better than the private sector? Maybe. I mean, I guess, yes. If I give you that, that still doesn't make me wrong. So every 70 years, it responds better than the private sector. But I wouldn't even say that. The reason why the civil rights laws were enacted wasn't because we had the best civil rights activists then. We had great civil rights activists in the 30s, 20s, 40s. They went nowhere. After World War I, that's when they were bombing Wall Street because all the veterans who came back from World War I, the black veterans said, I fought for your country, give me equal rights. World War II, I fought for your country, give me equal rights. And they got nowhere. What changed was two things. One was Rosa Parks' private company boycott. Yep. And number two, television. Yes, television. Seeing the people watching that on television, the private sector, is what moved them more than anything else. So even if I give you that, it's because of the private sector. It's because of television and the bus and the bus boycotts. So yeah, without the reason why Malcolm X and MLK were so much more popular than the people before them wasn't because they were that level better. They were great activists, clearly they were. But there were great activists in the 30s and 20s in the first. But TV is what made them popular. They had TV. That's what made them 3, 4, 5 times bigger, better, faster. So yes. So, all righty. Brona goes, I wholeheartedly disagree with your path to fix things, just as I did Ron Paul. I respect the case of commitment. I just don't agree about it. Yeah, but how do you abolish the state? How do you do it? Magic. So what you're saying, Brona, is I disagree. I think the right answer is magic. That's what you just said. I'm not joking. You just said, I don't agree with what you're saying, Larry. I'm more smarter than you. What I think the right answer is magic powers. I know the one guy talked about the genie. Was it Matt, the genie? You and Matt need to get together and use the genie story because that's the only way you're abolishing the state is through magic powers. That's it. The state ain't going nowhere without magic. So what you've just said is, Larry, I don't believe in you. I'm smarter than you. The real answer is magic powers. Find a genie. That's the real answer. No. If you want to abolish the state, people have to want to abolish the state. The people who are served by the state have to want to abolish the state. How do we do that? We show them, excuse me, that frog in my throat. We show them there's another way. Well, you can't show them there's another way without showing them there's another way. Well, if a governor got into place and showed them there's another way, they might believe that they don't require the state, in which case they might abolish the state. Without that, they will never abolish the state. The state will not be abolished. It's a monopoly on force. You know this, my friend. You know there's no way. What you just said publicly is, Larry, you're totally wrong. The right path is magic powers, is a genie, is Dungeons and Dragons wizard. I think I got you on that one, brother. Just saying. I think I got you on that one. So anyway, let me keep going down here if I can. Patty says, Larry, many of my friends no longer support Donnie because of healthcare issues. See, thank you, Patty. Thank you. This is my point with Mike. Mike is correct. Right now, at the moment, Trump is still winning this battle. That's true. At this moment in time, he's still winning public, overall, he's still winning. Republicans still overall still like him. A lot of independents are walking away, but Republicans still like him. He still has a decent, when it comes compared to Democrats, he's a decent favorable versus non-favorable rating. He's still okay right now. What I'm saying is Mike is already counting his chickens. I'm with you. I don't think them chickens should be counted yet. Wait 30 days. Wait 60 days when healthcare premiums are due. Wait till all of a sudden they're going to Obamacare's free market, which is not a free market, but anyway, marketplace, and then see what happens. I think Mike's counting them chickens too early. That's my look. He might be right. I'm not saying Mike's wrong. I'm saying your point's a valid one. There's people who are starting to shift, right? They're starting to shift, and we don't know who they're going to blame. That's the issue. So Mike says it back to you. The fact that Obamacare cannot function without government subsidy proves it's failed because it was never fully enacted. Yeah, but no one's going to care, Mike. Again, you're not wrong, but no one's going to care. They're going to blame somebody. They're going to blame somebody. If you're correct and they blame Democrats, you'll be correct. You have counted your chickens effectively. But if, to what Patty's saying, they blame Trump for this, and a lot of people blame the president for this, if enough people blame Trump for this, you shouldn't count them chickens. I just think it's too soon. That's my issue. So, all righty. Matt says, who cares how it spins? How about people quit being idiots and vote for third party? Yes. Do that. Matt is correct. Do that. Yes, 100%. 100%. All righty. Let's see here. Matt says because the moon is number core. Yeah, I think, there are issues there, right, with the moon that I don't know if you can do it. I think you're right. Yes, that is an issue. So I don't know if it can be done there. So yeah. All right. Anyway, okay. Let's see here. Mars can be terrifying. Oh, I thought it was 1,000 years. 100 years? Even better. I thought it was 1,000. So if it's 100 years, even faster. Yes, even faster. We could absolutely terraform it faster. The other question, of course, is how do we deal with the core? That's the issue. So yes. All right. Thomas goes, there's not enough water or atmosphere in the moon to support terraforming. There we go. I didn't think we could terraform the moon. I didn't think so, but I wasn't sure. I hadn't done the homework on that one. So yes, I did not do the homework on that one. Dave, get your ass to Mars. Nice. Little Total Recall, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Get your ass to Mars. Yes, absolutely. Nicely done. Yes. All righty. Push on that piece here if I can. You guys going back and forth a lot. Yes. Patty says, Larry, always remember Big Brother is watching you. True. True. That sadly is true. I agree with you. So yes. All righty. Brona says, I think Mars was once Earth. Human circadian rhythm aligns with Mars' day/night schedule. They're very close. The day is very close, like 23 hours or something like that. The day is very close, Brona. I forgot what it is, but it's a very close one. So yeah, some people do believe that Mars used to be that way, but then it's the atmosphere burned off somehow. I don't know if that's true, but I have heard that before. So I think that means that we actually could, make it happen. So I think we could. Yeah, I think we could do it. All righty. Mastermind says, Larry, if you run for mayor, I'll be your buddy. It's legal. Yes, it's legal. But I will never run for mayor. Mayor is where your career goes to die. It's over. Right? It's over. Once you go there. Once you become mayor, you're finished. That's it. So, all righty. Let's see here. Kim says chickens hatch in 21 days. Larry. Okay, so Mike, Kim says you got to wait 21 days. 21 days, Kim says you can then count your chickens. So you got to come back December 28th and then tell me if it's still true or not, right? That's the issue. Come back December 28th and we'll see that. There we go. Yes. All right. John says, keep your plan, keep your doctor was the promise. Yes, I remember that. My brother, self-employed, lost the policy he had for years, had to get a more expensive plan that covered less, and his doctor did not accept. Yeah, I know. Obamacare, look, to be forward, Obamacare did help some people. And be clear, it did help some people. And less people go bankrupt from healthcare bills than in the past. That's true. But overall, it was not a win. Overall, it was not a win. So yes. Mike says Mars Day is 24 hours, 37 minutes. There we go. I knew it was close. So it is very close. Yeah, I knew that. So I know that because of that spin that people think, that's why I love movies why people think that we could actually live on Mars. They do believe that. So we'll see. We'll see. All righty. That makes sense. Mike says the poll's clothing. So go to the poll if you want to. That'd be awesome. Did I say September 28th? October 20th. Did I say September? I meant October. I guess my head's up my ass. Anyway, so yes, come back, Mike. October 28th. And then we'll know if, and then we'll know if the chickens have hatched. We'll know then. So there we go. All right. Robert says, I wouldn't limit government responding to civil rights to the 60s. There were black officials during Reconstruction. During slavery, the post office hired black workers. But the post office is a private company, but I guess anyway. But yeah, they were elected officials because they were elected officials, true, but then they all went away. So I'm not sure where you're going with this. I'm not sure where you're going with this one at all. They all went away once the soldiers went away, right? Andrew Johnson the worst president and the first one to ever be impeached, by the way. Andrew Johnson was the first president ever to be impeached. So yeah, he was terrible. He wrecked everything and made everything bad, giving literally, this is how good the government worked to civil rights during Reconstruction. Once that was done, the government gave reparations to the slave owners, not to the slaves. Most people don't know that. The slave owners got reparations. So yeah. Michael says, who abolishes the state without the use of countervailing force? Good point. And so you would either have to have revolution. Violently would be one. That is one option. I'd rather not do that one. I'd rather it not be violent, right? I remember when years ago, it was 2016, 2020, I think it was, when Adam Kokesh was running for president, Libertarian Party nomination. He said the way to get rid of the federal government was to have an orderly dissolution similar to a bankruptcy procedure. And I was like, that actually makes sense. I mean, not that it was going to happen, but that was an actual plan that made sense. He was like, you slowly just give everything back to the states. And he actually said back to the states and to Native Americans. He was like, give Native Americans their own area too. He's like, give it all back and basically make 51 individual, smaller, localized countries, plus a bunch of whatever tribes, I forgot the number of tribes, and give it all back slowly, and then make the example to do it again and again, to just deconstruct locally until we're like at townships. And I was like, look, that wasn't going to happen, but that is orderly. And if enough people, and this is my point to Michael and to you, Bronner, if Americans believe that, we're nowhere near that. But assuming for a moment that Americans actually believe that was a better form of government, that is a way we could do it. Again, assuming we are nowhere near that. But assuming that at one point in time, whatever that future point is, where Americans believed in localism that much, that will be the way we'd achieve it. That is the way you would do it, right? That's how you would take care of that. I don't see any other way of doing it. I can't see another way of doing it. So, any case. So, Ryzuka says, well, at least we got RFK Jr. out of all of this. True. Liberty says, Larry's delirious, now saying December. Time for bed and rest the voice. Yes to all those things. I still have a little bit of sinus, as you can tell. I haven't got rid of this thing yet. It's going away. I gotta sleep. I'm not sleeping enough. But before I go there, there's one thing I want you to think about. We talked about reform. We talked about how to build things. We did. There's another place where you can find some stuff to build. And you know what that is? It's not civil. It's on the Advocates. The Advocates for Self-Government. Guys, if you have a moment, do me a favor. Click that button, that link that is in the description on Facebook, on Rumble, and also on YouTube. It says link to the Advocates. Go over there, click on that, and read this specific article. Once you go there, click on articles. When you click on articles, look for this specific one on the regulation. It's called Housing Cost Regulations and the Promise of Reform. It's about a 12-minute read. Take your time. Read it when you're done. When you're done reading it, go through it. Talks about regulations, how things work, how we can actually figure out to get things cheaper, how we can actually build things, all the stuff it goes through. When you're done reading it, do me a favor, rate it. Was it persuasive? 1 through 10, whatever it is, you decide. Did you think it was great? Awesome. Put a 10. You didn't? Give it 1. Whatever. Give it. And when you're done, submit it and then share. Rate it and share. Please do that using the link that I put there. Use that link and rate this and share it. Why would I want you to do this? So more people can check this out, see what the Advocates for Self-Government are about, have those conversations. And I tell you who should be doing this right now. Bronner, should be you. Why you? You want to get rid of the government? We need more people to believe it. They got to start reading the articles on the Advocates for Self-Government. You, my friend, are an advocate for self-government. So why aren't you reading these things? Get your butt over there. Click the link. Read one of these things. Share it with all your volunteerist friends. They like this stuff, right? Share it with them and have them share it around because there we go. Do that. Practice what you preach, Bronner. Get your butt over there. Do that. Share it so more people see it. More people care. More conversations. Conversations matter. Please do that. It does matter, guys. Clicking that link, it does matter. They're a sponsor. I care about this. Yes. Bruno said, not saying magic, Larry. I said, stop participating and giving legitimacy to non-consensual authority. Great. Then I go to jail. Not legitimate. I'm not paying taxes. Jail I go. I'm not going to get a driver's license. Jail I go. I'm not going to get a license for my business. Jail I go. I'm going to ignore the cops when they tell me to stop. Jail I go. So stop participating and go to jail. I'm not going to pay my income tax. Go to jail. That's the reality, my friend. So yeah, you did say magic. Yes, you did. Because I'm going to like not pay attention. I'm not going to, you're not, when an officer comes by, you're not legitimate. Bronner said you're not legitimate. So I'm not listening to you. I better have magic powers then, or I'm going to jail. I'm not paying my taxes. Bronner said I don't have to. You're not legitimate. I'm not gonna participate in that. Jail I go. I better have magic powers then. So I know you didn't say magic, but you did say magic. You did say magic. You did. Just saying. You did say that. Oh, that's all I'm saying. So yes. All right. I'm going to go use a neti pot. You guys tell me using neti pot. I'm going to clear this stuff out. I've been talking for too long. It's been about 2 hours. Guys, I appreciate everything that you've done. I appreciate you guys doing this. Please make sure you share this. And of course, as I say always, afterwards, put a comment down. Put a comment. It does matter. I'm going to ask you to tell me what you think America should build. What should America build next? What should we build a big bridge? Should we build a moon base? Should we build a Mars base? What should we build? What should America build? Please, after this live is over, please put that in the comments. If you're watching this when it's not live, you're going to see 2 videos pop up. Please watch one of them immediately. Mr. Rhythm loves that. Algo Rhythm loves that. I will see you all very soon.